What are you communicating? Everyone around the world needs to have keys to communicate properly. And today, Dr. Say and Bud is going to share interesting information with you. Hey there, hey there, hey there. This is Dr. Lotus Roche, and I am super happy to have you here with me today. And today I'm going to be sharing some insightful information on a couple of things. So, hope you like the music that we were sharing because that's energetic music to get you going and to keep you flowing. So, with no further ado, I want to thank you for coming on board. And I'm going to remove my glasses. I'm going to thank you for coming on board. I encourage you to share this out to your widest reach of people because today we're going to talk to you very interestingly and quickly enough so that you understand what we're saying from a place and a full heart of love. We want to talk about 5 keys of communication, and the communications that we are going to share is going to help you and help someone you know communicate better. We're not saying that we communicate better than you or better than anyone else on the planet, but we know some keys to help you get in where you fit in when it comes to communication. So I am humbly honored and so happy that I have someone that's going to jump on this call with me because let's face it, it's always nice to do things by yourself, but it's great to do things with other people. And earlier today, I was really just amazed and blessed to be with the folks from the ICGC, and we shared our love and we shared an opportunity. And here's an opportunity for you to grab some love and light. And here, this is a time where you can network as well. So I'm going to have some books I'm going to share, but most importantly, let me grab this. I want to share this with you. And you folks, you always hear me say, note takers are money makers and note takers are change makers. But if you're not taking notes and you're not writing anything down, how are you going to remember, right, what was being said? Because someone I know shared with me, we can't lean to our own mind to remember certain things, right? Because we may forget, and it's all right to forget. But guess what? The Most High has endowed us with an ability to write things down. So while you're going ahead writing this down, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Go ahead. 30 seconds. Take this opportunity in this 30 seconds to write. Go get your notepad and go get your pen. Okay? I'll be right back.
It's time for you to start bossing in social media. For all your social media needs, you've come to the right place at the right time to get your website designed, landing page, social media platforms, and get the training you need to get in front of the people that's ready to buy your products and services. Let me train you with StreamYard, Zoom, Clubhouse, and much more. And let me help you get your virtual professionals, not assistants, because assistants can only assist you, but the virtual professionals can give you that professional flavor that you need to expand your reach and increase your revenue. Jump on in and get in where you fit in and start bossing today.
All right, fantastic, and welcome back. Please go ahead and share this out to your widest audience. I am so happy just to have you here today and just to be a part of what we're quickly sharing. 5 communication keys. Well, we know that keys typically do what? They unlock doors. So today, myself and my guests, we are going to share keys with you to unlock doors. And so first key is, I'm going to go right here. Take your phone. Thank God for technology. Take your phone. Go right to, if you're seeing this, go right to your messenger or wherever you got to go. Go there, okay? And go ahead and share this broadcast. I believe in sharing the broadcast. So what I'm doing now, I'm going to share my broadcast. Yep, that's right. I'm not going to ask you to do something that I don't do. I'm sharing my broadcast with folks all around the world. And I'm asking you to do the same, because these few tips that we're going to give, people pay thousands of dollars for these tips. And guess what? We're not charging you one dime, because we're coming from a place of love, with respect and honor. And we want you to hear this message. We want you to share this message out. We want you and people that you love and care about to know these 5 keys to communication, because like I said before, they will unequivocally unlock doors. Okay, so with no further ado, I want to thank those of you that's already coming on. Jennifer McNeil, hey, how you doing? Nikki Hammer, hey, how you doing? Go ahead and share this out. And so we're going to get started very quickly. We're going to get started. 5 keys to communication. And ladies, if you have something to share under these keys, I want you to put it in the chat. I'm going to bring it up on the screen. If you are joining us, no matter where you're joining us from, we want to know where you're coming in from. Why? Because it's important. Because we want to know that you're enlightening, and we're enlightening people all over the world. So with no further ado, I want you all to please welcome one of my guests to the show. He's an amazing author. He's a speaker. He's a trainer. He's a coach. He's a person that networks. He's got the secret sauce. And of course, he is here with me today. I want you to please welcome none other than Buck Dumbuya. Hi, Buck. How you doing, darling?
I am great. Thank you very much. You know, as we talked previously, words are not enough to express how grateful I am to connect with you, because your sense of vibration, your sense of wealth, your spirituality in terms of the way you think, your thought process, and your heart to give back to the world, you know, it's infectious. Otherwise, I won't be here. So thank you very much for giving me this platform to share my thoughts and to be with you. Thank you very much. And it's a blessing to speak with to you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you to the show. So earlier we had a conversation. We were a part of a wonderful summit today, and honor goes to the summit creators with the ICN and ICGC. Just amazing people. Ambassador Richardson, and also none other than Dr. Come on, help me out here, because if they're watching, they're gonna be like, "How you going, Dr. Sonia?"
Dr. Sonia Robinson.
Yeah, Dr. Sonia Robinson just jumped right in, and we were able to share some time, space, and some love. But here's the kicker: after it was all over, right? We kind of stayed on, and we were still dialoguing. And so as we dialogued, we talked about communication and why it's so important. And we asked a couple of questions of ourselves, really. And we wanted to know, are you just communicating to make money, or are you communicating to connect? And so, folks, this is a very interactive broadcast. So we're going to ask that you get your notes and you get your pens and write these things down, because this is a networking opportunity as well, a global networking opportunity for you to connect with people all around the world and share your thoughts as we share our thoughts and our love. So, are you communicating to make money, or are you communicating to connect? I think one of the first things is, let's talk about communication. But go ahead, let's tell the people what communication is, and then let's tell them what it's not.
To be precise, communication is a huge, I would say, it's a complex subject that many of us, we've actually misconstrued, we don't even understand. From a layman's perspective, and communication is about talking to someone, and it's about expressing your thoughts. And those are the subtle things, especially when it comes to relationship, or the reason why our relationship broke because of lack of communication. The question is, what is lack of communication? Because if I'm speaking to you, if I'm angry, right, I've expressed myself. But we need to understand the difference between effective communication as opposed to productive communication. And also, we need to understand communication that comes from a place of empathy and love, right? And communication is also a byproduct of information. So saying that, because you've inspired me, Dr. Lotus, for me to be here, I've got a key concept that I've got for my new book that I'll reveal here, because it'll be on this platform. And I would reveal to people, perhaps it would help them to understand. So in a nutshell, communication, we want to communicate from a place of love and empathy, not for the sake of our own egoism, right? To say, I want to look so special in a way that people, for example, as a business person, I would communicate to persuade you, right? Because when we communicate to persuade, we're actually not focusing our state of mind when it comes to empathy.
Exactly.
We're communicating to understand people's needs. This is because communication is very broad. So the point I'm trying to say is that to communicate effectively is one thing, but to communicate from a productive perspective is another thing. And also going back, building another branch is that it depends on your productivity, what you consider as productivity. Remember, there's two forms of communication, internal and external communication. So whatever you produce outside your mouth or you put your pen down, that will be seen as external. This is my own philosophy. But your thought process behind that communication is an internal affair. So whatever your thoughts, as the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. Well, I'm saying that, not necessarily what you think you are. Just food for thought, not necessarily what you think you are. You become what you think within your state of mind, and if you express it outside. So because there are many people that want to become rich. I want to become rich. I want to become wealthy. But their communications, when it comes to building relationship, when it comes to communicating their products or services, does not align to the wealth mindsets from a place of love. Because if God is talking about love, for all who does not love, does not know God. So for whatever communication that we communicate, it has to be beyond the sense of being effective and productive, but a sense of state of wealth.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And here's another question that we wanted to ask people, because today's broadcast is really about the critical thinking. And I have one of the queens of critical thinking on with us right now. And she knows who I'm talking about. And I'm gonna pull her in a second by calling her name. Jennifer McNeil is one of the queens of critical thinking. Jennifer McNeil taught me critical thinking when I was in college. And everything I do, even if I get excited, I always trickle back. And I have to ask myself, well, wait a minute. You've got to really think about this. You've got to do some critical thinking. And so when we talk about communication, we want to ask ourselves about, are we coming from a place of empathy and love? Okay. Not where it's sympathy. Oh, I feel so sorry. Because when we feel sorry for people, I wonder if that sorrowful energy helps or does not. And so that's a question to our viewers. Do you think the sorrowful energy help people? Because that's a form of communication. We communicate that. Does it raise the vibration or does it lower the vibration? Or does the place of empathy, feeling with them, being in oneness with them, does that help or lower the vibration? So I just want to put that out there. I'd like for you all to respond, and I'll bring your comments up. And there is no right or wrong answer here, okay? Because we are communicating. We're communicating our messages with the world. And we shared that whatever you communicate on the outside is a reflection of what is on the inside. So the question becomes, and please write this down. What's on the inside of you? Are you dealing from a place of hurt? Are you dealing from a place of anger? Are you dealing from a place of lack? Because when we're dealing from a place of lack, hurt, pain, envy, jealousy, being in the spirit of competition with someone, oh, I got my business got to be better than this person's business. It takes us to a lower level of existence. And this is a part of communication because we're communicating within our own mind, within our own heart, within our own soul, where we want to be on a vibrational level. And so I see some folks, they're already commenting. I want to say, hey, Jennifer, it's always great to see you, of course. And I see Dr. Craven from Canada. Hey, how you doing? Always great to have you here as well. I see Nikki Hammer out of Chi-Town. And okay, I see someone coming in from Columbus, Ohio. How you doing? Happy to have you here. And let me see. I had somebody say no. Okay, so I got the no. I'd like for you to expound on that. I'm going right to Jennifer. Jennifer says saying something must be observable, real. I love that. It's got to be real. So write this down. Real talk. She said real talk. So I want to ask you guys this. How many times have you communicated with someone and you just said what you said to appease them? Okay, it wasn't real. You just said what you said to appease them because you've been taught that it's the right thing to do. And so with that being said, I'm going right back to my brother Buck because we talked about, do we want, we have to be authentic when we speak. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, as you were speaking, you talk about when it comes to a place of anger. This is something I talk in my book that I've not revealed yet. And before, towards the end, I believe we would suggest the 5 keys, right? And I'll save the 3 components that I have that they would have. So you mentioned about anger, right?
Yes.
This state, the word state in itself, I discussed this in my book. State is an environment, right? States could be outside. Example, in United States, I live in the United Kingdom. You live in the United States. There are regulations that govern our society, right? And we are a byproduct of that. Society is a byproduct of humanity. So we, as humanity, we are governed by the states. And that state, the question is, what's the philosophy? That philosophy is communication, because philosophy is knowledge, right? It's coming from a place, internal being. So whosoever, like the people who create regulations, they actually have that internal communication within themselves. Is it coming from a place of anger or a place of love? That word state, if you understand your state of mind, and then you understand the state on the outside, that there are people going through frustrations, anger, you have no reason to judge someone without you knowing the actual facts of their given situation. And that's where I talked about the place of empathy. What that means is that someone is frustrated, someone is angry. The question is, have you actually used the sense of empathy to understand where that state of mindset is coming from? Because being is an existence. The word human being, the word be, to be, it's an action, we're in existence. So because of that, remember, even like for us to be here today, we've gone through the scientific communication. These are things beyond our understanding. So these are all communication, these are vibration as we talk about frequency. So the thing is, if you have lack the state of being in a sense of wealth, what? So what you generate on the outside is anger. Perhaps, just like you said, there's no judgment here. Someone angry because of what? Empathy. How? What makes you feel the way you feel? This is communication. If we understand that, we use a sort of like, say, you know what, let me place myself in someone else's shoes, because perhaps their shoes is not It's actually burning them. It's not their feet. It's not their right feet. So I want to be in their shoes. How are you feeling? What makes you angry? That place of thoughts, that's thought process. The critical thinking, that's part of critical thinking, because critical thinking is to question things without making conclusion. Someone is happy, why? Someone is upset, why? Someone has gone there to go on a shooting spree, why? All of that, again, internal beings, your communication, your thought process influence your action on the outside. So love is very important. So is empathy. Empathy is actually, we talk about it, but we don't understand the concept of it. We talk about empathy as an abstract situation, but your action by putting yourself in someone else's shoes, let me listen. That homeless people there, perhaps something happened during their childhood, so they led to that point. A quick example. Someone said to me a couple of days ago, this beggar approached me. I said, I need a change. Let me give him money. And the customer service assistant said, don't give him money. It would drink. Okay. And I said, whether it drinks a buy alcohol or not, I'm not going to judge. I'm giving it from a place of love. I want him to buy food. I'm not giving him to buy alcohol. So I don't know where it has been through. You see, this is all communication. And the point was that I empowered that person who was trying to persuade me not to give money. I said, give with all your heart, because it's coming from a place of love and empathy.
Yes. And here's something too. Write this down, folks. When we allow people to dictate to us not to give, or to judge a person who may be standing in need, or whatever the case may be, and we silently go along with it, we are silently agreeing, but that silence is speaking very loudly. And that is a way that we're communicating our message to the world. Now, it might be that we want to give, but because we're being inundated or persuaded by someone else, we choose not to give because we don't want to be the persona non grata, or because we want to be in commune with that person. What we're saying to you is this: you have to have your voice to communicate. And although you may communicate in silence, or so you think it's silence, your voice, your communication is ringing very true and very through. And so, but I want to go to some of the comments, because we have a lot of comments here and I don't want to miss anything. So I want to go right to Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer, for your comments. We appreciate you. She says situations can fester if not honestly communicated. Empathy. I love that. And then we have someone that's saying domestication in the matrix. So you may have seen our show a while back, from Bring Who You Are, the thoughts on domestication, because this is where we become domesticated and not really breathe. Okay. Be breath and breathe. That's right. So Jennifer said, identifying the why is one of the keys to critical thinking. I told you she taught me critical thinking. So there you go. She's showing up. Okay. We all have triggers that surface, and it interferes with our communication and connection. That's correct. And so that's one of the reasons why we were asking, are you communicating just to make money or just to make your own point? Or are you really communicating to connect? And we have to connect from a place of love and of empathy and understanding. So I thank you for sharing your thoughts, viewers. And please, I ask that you share this along the way. I thought it was you, Dr. Jamija. I thought it was you. So Dr. Jamija Jubilee was one of the people that helped create the Bring Who You Are reality to life. And it's without question, it is a part of domestication, because we've been domesticated
to be, do, and think in certain ways. So, but continue, please.
Okay, thank you. Once again, the question, because I remember prior to me coming here, you talk about the message for us to empower people, talking about if, especially for those who are helping people out there. When we talk communication, another thought process I would like people to use. This again is a like critical thinking approach. Firstly, ask yourself, for you to be in a position to communicate, to sell, to produce whatever information or service out there, you are the medium, you are the medium of your words. So your words is a message. And that message, when it
Yes.
comes to personal branding, is a representation of who you are. Who you
Right.
are within would show by your action on the outside. So before you communicate, there's a thing that we don't do. Reflect, be silent. The Bible says, be still. Think, reflect within. Ask yourself this question: what am I saying, or what I intend to talk about? If what I'm intend to talk about, is it something that will be an edification to the listener, or is it something that will destroy? If it is the latter, do not say it, do not project it, do not generate it, because it will become the substance of society. For example, the people that claim to be influencer, right? There are different types of influencers. The people that have influenced people to commit crime because they lack a sense of critical thinking when it comes for that state of wealth, state of empathy, state of love for one another. If you think about this, perhaps your words, because for every word that you project outside your mouth, you cannot bring it back. There is no regression. So once it's
Exactly.
out, you can't take it back. It's just like for example, you live in a glass house. You throw a stone, you broke the house. The glass would never be the same until you replace it. That means
Exactly.
if you use your communication, your message, if you destroy someone's life, you cannot give them back that life.
Exactly.
Hence the reason why, again, communication is a two-form, right? You have, two-form, the speaker and the recipient. So if you're listening, because as much as the fact that it's important to speak, it's important to listen. So if
Exactly.
someone say to you something that does not align to your spirit for well-being and health, do not allow that word to empower you. So key food for thought. Or do you want me to keep it now, or do you want me to reveal it in terms of the three components or keys? Do you want me to share it now, or do you want me to save it?
I would say let's hold it, because those key components we're
Okay.
going to give you at the bottom of the broadcast, and we're about 10 minutes from the bottom of the broadcast. So because we're 10 minutes from the bottom of the broadcast, I want you to take this moment in time. I want you guys to share this broadcast out. Share this broadcast out, because we've got some amazing people that are viewing us from all around the world, who've already started sharing their light and their love. And I got to tell you, if they're not on this broadcast, they're going to miss not only what we're saying, but they're going to miss what you guys are saying. And what you guys are saying is critically important. And so, with that being shared, I want to go ahead and share this. Without, how can we share communication without hindering? So we have to be helping without hindering. And a lot of times our communication, and many of you out there know this, especially those of us who are speakers, who are teachers, who are trainers, who are authors, entrepreneurs, CEOs, and the like. We know, or who has been placed in authority over someone, like our children, our whomever. We know that a lot of times we've been through things. And because we've been through some things, right? We have that experienced knowledge.
And so we want to stop people from falling into a pitfall. Anybody out there, if this is you, if you have helped people in the past and you still want to help people in the future not fall into the same pitfalls that you've fallen in, put an L in the comment, put an L in the comment, put an L in the comment, because that's pervasive globally. This is nothing new under the sun. But what is something that is a new way of thinking in some realms is that maybe, just maybe, that we're trying to help them and we're trying to take them down this road to dodge that pitfall. But are we helping them without hindering them? Are we confining them into a square box? Are we just confining them into a bubble where they feel like they can't breathe? Like we have our foot or our knee on their neck. So this is a key of communication as well. When we communicate, we have to stop and do the critical thinking piece. We got to reflect from within. We got to take that critical thinking approach and really ask ourselves, am I helping without hindering? And then the next thing, write this down, folks. Many of us have been taught to serve. Many of us say we serve. We love to serve. Well, here's the question, because this is how we communicate as well. When we serve, how are you communicating when you serve? Are you serving without sacrificing your followers? Many of us have shows, we have books, we have people that we teach in schools, people that we're working with. Whether we're the supervisor, the boss, the manager, or whatever we call ourselves, you don't have to be a boss. You don't have to be a manager to teach. Okay. You don't have to be a manager or boss to serve. And so when we're serving, are we serving without sacrificing our followers? And are we inspiring by influencing positive energy mindset rather than the energy mindset of lack, the energy mindset of I'm a woman, I can't do it, the energy mindset of I'm a male, I can't do it, or I'm black, or I'm Latino, or I'm Jewish, or I'm Russian, or I'm Polish, or whatever and however we identify. And write that word down, identify, because Buck and I are going to come back on a different segment and talk about identifying. Okay. How are you serving? Are you serving without sacrificing yourself, one, your self-integrity, your followers, by sharing some things that are not helping them to survive and thrive? Okay. Are we speaking positive energy and creating a mindset? Because Buck, you and I talked about this. We have to unlearn some things that we've learned. And until we learn to unlearn what we've learned, we can never really totally learn the things that's going to take us to the next level of existence and operation, because it's all about frequency and vibration. So, but I'm ready for you to share those 5.
Wow. Okay. That you just, you mentioned about, identifications, or learn, I wish we got the whole month to talk about this.
Yes.
One thing I've learned about life, as I said, about to learn, to unlearn, to grow. One thing I've learned about life is that it doesn't really matter the things we possess on the outside, we earn on the outside, the accolades we achieve, the high status job we have, the qualifications we gain through the educational system. If you're not successful within, your soul is nothing. In the scripture teach us that what is the point to profit the world and you lose your soul? At the end of the day, when you die, you take nothing with you, but your soul goes with you, and your flesh, your body becomes soil. If you die in war fronts, as I experienced a civil war crisis in Sierra Leone prior to me coming to the UK, if you died in war fronts, your body will become ruts, flies. And imagine you had thoughts, you had great value, you had innovation, and you didn't communicate that with the world. Would you consider yourself as a person who died successfully? Well, it's a food for thought for you to think about that. So the point I'm trying to say is that we need to learn as a business person, as a student, as a learner, as whatever you think you are. You are what you think you are. So if you think yesterday you were low because of low self-esteem, then you need to unlearn that you're not, because the God who created you and I created us from a place of abundance. So if you think you're low, unlearn that. And the education you've gained yesterday, unlearn that, because perhaps the person who taught you that knowledge came from a place of lack, where there's no sense of wealth, love, and empathy. Critical thinking, you must apply that throughout your life, because critical thinking will make you distinguish between, there's a saying to say, it is better to be a lion for a day than to become a sheep your whole life. And if you become a sheep your whole life, because you miss the communication within to understand the intuition. The intuition is the spirit from God. So if you understand that, you will learn to grow every day, because no plant grows in a confined environment where there is no oxygen. And the reason why we don't grow, because we think the qualifications, the knowledge, the experience we had in the past is enough, that we limit the sense of exposure, a sense of expansion, so to speak. Because we need to learn. Our mindset is like a software. We upgrade our phones, we upgrade our houses, we upgrade the shoes, our looks, but we don't update our mindsets. We allow the old mindset to keep us from the place that we were not created to be. So hence the reason why it's important to unlearn and learn, because if you unlearn, that means I'm not saying to get rid of the knowledge, the old knowledge you've gained in the past. I am saying that every day is an opportunity, it's a grace to reflect, to learn critically my thoughts. How am I making this person feel? My purpose in life. We have more than one purposes in life. We discover one today. Potentiality is not a realization. It's an abstract situation. But until you listen to that communication within you, that's you don't have to be a religious person to understand a state of spirituality. But to listen to people like Dr. Lutz's, people who are speaking live. Again, if you're not coming from a place of thoughts, a critical thinking process, growth mindset, you think that your qualification, your position, your status that you've gained yesterday is enough. For me, that's what kills innovation. Innovation, there's an expansion, because oxygen is life. I coined a term a few years ago, water oxygen, two components, water and oxygen. To breathe is oxygen, that's inspiration. Inspiration stems from the word spirits. Spirit is a fresh breath air. If you're not expanding, you're not breathing. And if you're not breathing, you lack the substance and the vibration or frequency of inspiration. And that's the spirit from God within you.
Exactly. And I want to share, Dr. Umaja shared this, and I like this too. Jennifer said, absolutely right on target earlier on. And so I keep going to that because you're right on target. So Dr. Umaja said, push your reset button and listen to your intuitive discernment. Okay. And then we have some people are not ready. They are too busy doing gaslighting, spiritual bypassing, and other things. Okay. Um, and the thing that really gets us is that when we're so busy gaslighting, we forget the light inside. That's why my show is called The Ignite Show, because so many of us has gaslit so many other things. We forgot to put something in our own burners. And so we have to reignite the love inside that the Most High has endowed us with. And so it says, me, Unbecoming Me is my new book. Wow, I can't wait to get that book, Dr. Jemima Jubilee. That's her new book. So with that being shared, we're going to go into our 5 communication tips. We've shared some communication tips with you already. Okay. And we may not be able to cover them all in one short segment, but we're going to give you something that you can really sink your teeth into. Okay. So I'm going to start off with 3 things. Okay. And this is one, okay, communication tip. And you might say, Dr. Lotus, how are you going to start off with 3 things and it's only one communication tip? Because you heard of this thing is I'm packaging, right? A bundle. I'm giving you a bundle. Okay. I'm giving you a bundle. So update your mindset, right? So the first thing that I want to say, hi, and I see you, Huda Emma Paul. How you doing? And I hope I pronounced that right. Great to have you here. Let us know where you're coming in from, please, and thank you. So the first thing I want to say as we start our 5 tips as we wind down. Now, a lot of times I don't go by who wrote the book, but I go by what's in the book. Okay. This book right here, I don't know if you can see it. Okay, there we go. This book right here was written by Joyce Myers, and it's called Enjoy Your Journey. So in communicating with people, you have to communicate to yourself to enjoy your journey. So when you start communicating with others, you open the doorway to them to enjoy their journey of communicating with you. All right. These are critical keys to communication. And then when you communicate, this is by my friend Les Brown, Laws of Success. And you see the book is all beaten up. I used to carry this book everywhere with me when I go. And this is the 12 Laws of Success by Les Brown. Ask yourself before you even communicate. Buck said, do the critical thinking, right? So here's your critical thinking space. When you get ready to communicate, what laws of operation are you dealing with? You understand the first law is that you have to be in oneness. So when you're in oneness with people, there is no big U's and little me's. When you're in oneness with people, you understand that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, which helps to level the playing field of thought, mind, and spirit. So what laws are you operating in? Are you understanding the 3rd law of motion, that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction? And then the other part of what I'm saying is this book right here, The 4 Agreements. This is the wisdom book, right? And this is by Miguel Ruiz, Don Miguel Ruiz. I don't know if you can see this, but the 4 agreements, what are you agreeing to in your own life? What's important to you? How are you dreaming? Be impeccable with your word. Okay. This is chapter 2. This is chapter 2 of this book. Be impeccable with your word. Mean what you say and say what you mean. And then the other one I want to share is the 7 spiritual laws of success. The 7 spiritual laws of success by Deepak Chopra. What, again, are the laws? Because it takes us back to the law. What laws are you setting in your own life to be keys of how you communicate? So I've given you critical things to think about. That's the critical thinking piece of the 5 keys of communication. Who are you listening to? Who's driving you? What do you agree with? Can you agree to disagree and still agree that you want to communicate in peace and harmony? Now, I might not go along with everything Joyce Meyer says, but is there something in the message that I don't want to miss and not be caught up in the mess of thinking, well, maybe she may not be able to tell me nothing? No. So those are powerful keys to help you communicate. So I've said what I'm going to say. Now, Brother Buck is going to share the 5 keys of communication from his point of view.
Yeah, thank you very much once again. All what you've just shared, I endorsed it with my heart, from the bottom of my heart. You know, we are spiritual beings. We are connected. So if only we allow that divinity force within us to continue to generate the vibration and the frequency that you and I and other people perhaps would connect to, perhaps will discover the greatness in us, and then we'll be able to communicate better. So first, one of the things I would say, I'll reveal it and then I'll talk about it more in my book, but I'll reveal it because of love, because of you. And that I would even state in my book, because your platform and you and the other people who are listening will be the first person to get it. This is coming from our heart. It's in my book, okay? I have not revealed it yet. So now I'm going to relate. My mind is saying, don't, I will. So look at the key, right? Look at this word, the key, right? So now what I'm doing, where is the other marker? I like to use color, the key, right? To effective communication. This K-E-Y. Firstly, I'll start from the bottom. Think about the seed. I like to use metaphoric metaphor. So think about, this is a tree, right? This is the seed. The first key to communication is you. That you represents you, right? You, right? These are 3 keys in 1 key. Does that make sense? 3 keys in 1 key. You've never had this anywhere. This is the first platform as a result of the blessing of Dr. Lotus, right? You know, it starts from the bottom. Wow, this is internal. That's you. So for every word, it says the scripture tells us that the word was God, and the word was God. So your communication is you, and wherever you communicate is you. So that's first key is you. Start from the bottom, internal. So build knowledge, update your knowledge, value. Who are you? That who are you then leads me to what I would consider as your presets. Your presets influence the creation of your concepts. Your precepts influence the creation of your concepts. Concepts, you know, the word con, C-O-N, the prefix con, when you combine, because for you to have this idea, this notion, there are principles, regulations within your mindset or wherever you learned your knowledge from. And that's the knowledge. I'll get to that. That's the knowledge. So wherever you gain your knowledge from determines your state of being. Your state of being is determined by your presets. Your presets are the guiding principles of your thoughts process. And that will develop, that communication within you, develop the concepts you embrace. If you embrace a state of poverty that you're poor because of your social status, because of the location where you're born, that's based on your precept, then that's you are what you think you are. So you are not poor, because my faith, my philosophy is that every human being on earth was born with wealth successfully. Exactly. If scientists suggested that one ejaculation of sperm cell worth over 500 million sperm cell, right? Millions, and then you were chosen out of that biologically, and you have your own fingerprint. No one has that. Your iris, all of that. No one has that. We're all humanity in terms of that spiritual sense of things. But you are unique. If you think you're poor, you are poor. But if you think you're coming from a place of divinity where wealth is in abundance, then that's what your preset will determine the concept to say, for me to create wealth, I need to be an entrepreneur, not just to create business, but to create value. So that's food for thought. So what you know, as a parent, I've got a book for parents as well. What you know is what you would teach people around you within your surroundings. So the first key is you. Start with you. Work on yourself first. Before trying to communicate and teach other people, your words does not align to who you represent. You preach, but yet you don't practice what you preach. Work on you. Update your knowledge. Unlearn. The second is empowerment. The word empowerment, if you cannot self-empower yourself, or you cannot allow the God to empower you within you, who can you empower? You talk to motivate people. Some people use motivation, it's like an instant gratification. But because you don't have that preset, guiding principle to say, you know what, I am not going to compromise my core value for instant gratification. I won't communicate or create a product or service or speak to someone for them to like me and love me, for me to feel that great, and then manipulate them at the expense of their pain. So that empowerment is authority. What authority do you have to speak? Critical thinking. Think. I have the authority because I have love. I'm not speaking just to manipulate. I'm not speaking to manipulate people. So that state of empowerment. If your action as a parent, as a leader, is not about giving instructions, it's about your action that will lead people to take instructions from what they're learning from. That comes to empowerment. Yes. And then that empowerment, again, knowledge. If you think about this, you see, this is like tree, right? This is the tree, this is the roots, this is the seed. You are what you show out to be, authority, what you push empowered out there, and then this knowledge becomes a branch outside you. Does that make sense? So this knowledge are facts to justify who you are. This knowledge are information. Look up the words. Don't just accept what I'm saying. I don't have the solution to your problem, but I'm saying that I have the solutions that I've used to solve my problems and help people who wanted to commit suicide. People, young people actually get parents who wanted to give up, people that I've used, I didn't even know God was using me to empower them. No one taught me this. I've got several degrees. I've got master's degree in design innovation management, but that does not define who I am. Exactly. Because the qualification that I have, having a qualification does not qualify me to communicate effectively or productively in life. It's the presets, the person, that yourself. You are what you put out there. The empowerment is energy. That's power. So that gives out the knowledge. People would build your reputation. That knowledge, information, facts. Not all facts are facts. In the field of academia, we're trained because facts are just evidence to justify a given situation or to explain about different hypotheses or given situation. Facts do change. Do you change? You don't want to change because you think your degree, your PhD, your this and that is enough for you. Not knowing that when you started, when you go back biologically, you change over time, growth, development. So why do you want to stay stagnant? So these are the three keys. I explain more about this in my book. You work on yourself before you speak out. It could be different perspective. For example, if you want to speak out internally, say, okay, let me be silent. critical thinking. Am I speaking something? Am I going to speak something to empower or to destroy? That's you.
Exactly.
That's a different. And if you want to become a public speaker, again, work on you. Empowerment. You see the knowledge. This knowledge is all information. What I'm speaking out there, because I value philosophy. If you're not into philosophy, then don't consider yourself as male or female. Not consider yourself, not even use any vocabularies to do with society, because those are the foundation of philosophy. As His Royal Highness Clyde Beaver said, we have to create our own philosophy. Dr. Roberts and Sonia Robinson all talking about this place of love, because otherwise you and I wouldn't have been here. Imagine Dr. Sonia was communicating about something against my preset, my core values. I wouldn't be here. I didn't get paid to
Exactly.
be here, but I am getting paid in spirits. I am feeling great
Yes.
that you inspired me because of your words of communication. Your presets aligned to me, empowered me, and that knowledge brought me to be in this environment. And I hope you take this, don't take no words for granted. It could be negative, positive, but use critical thinking to assess that. And your critical thinking is determined by your presets, and then it influences your concepts. Those are the three. I could say more. There were many I could say. Yeah, but that three concept, just work on them. I'll explain more about this in my book. We could talk, and then also the secret recipe, so to speak. Dr. Lotus reveal about success, all of those things. Never take any word for granted. Some words might be like a nail on a wall. They will damage you, but some words might be the one that will create an opportunity, a bridge for you to work on that part.
I love it. Uh, so we're going to give you the three right here. Okay. Let me put this here. So number three, I want you all to say it with me. I'm gonna leave the last word off. Never take any words for granted. Let's say that. Never take any words for granted. Put in the chat. Never take any words for granted. And the reason why we say that is because, again, sometimes when we discount people, we take their words for granted. We miss the message. We miss the message and we stay in the mess. I gave you some keys. He gave you some keys. Three keys in one. Three keys in one. You start with you. Work on yourself first. Your precepts. And I put in your presets because we're set. We've been molded to think, believe, and feel, and speak and behave a certain way. So we have to unlearn what we've learned so we can learn, so we can grow. Even we have to learn so we can earn. Because let's face it, how many of you out there have been told you poor, you come from poor people. So how can a person like you gain wealth? Come on, that's implanted on your psyche. And unless you listen to these types of conversations, you don't know how to undo what's been done. How can you create value? Create value when you're communicating. Because I started saying the five keys of communication. I started the conversation off. Are you just communicating to make money, or are you communicating to connect? We started it off like that for a reason. Because we're not here to make money. We're here to connect so you can connect what you think about, you bring about. So we're asking you to create value through your thoughts. Empower your audience, empower yourself. Why? Because you got to work on yourself first and create value in your own life, right? Because your precepts and presets influence the creation of your concepts, right? But you have to empower yourself. And here's the thing. Many of us don't want to change because we're so comfortable being comfortable in the dysfunction that this world has placed in front of us and called it life. It's not life. It's not living. Not if we're staying embodied in dysfunction. So the question is, do you change? Yes. Yes, you can change. And how? Because you need to know your why. Know why you're here. Know your worth. Know that the Most High is in you. The I am that I am is in you. So therefore, the I am has already created value in you. Don't allow nobody to tell you that you're not valuable. Don't allow anyone to tell you you need to do something different. But you and I was talking, right? And I said, somebody told me, oh, you need to lower your prices. Don't charge me so much. Or, if you charge me this, then you're not going to be a part of our group or team or whatever. And the fact of the matter is that we have to value our value. Dr. Eric Kelly always says something to this effect. If you don't value your value, then your value has no value. So don't allow people to tell you to come down to a lower frequency of existing when you communicate, whether it is you're communicating something like on a platform today, whether it's you're communicating a poem. Dr. Yamaja is an awesome poet. Whether it's when you're communicating a message of these are what my costs are going to be for my service. Don't allow somebody to bring down you for what the Most High has set up here. Because every time you allow someone to grab you and bring you down to a lower frequency, it's not their fault. It's not their fault. And that's why we're having this talk today, because Brother Buck and I just wanted to share some love with you. We wanted to share some empowerment with you. We want you to know that it's okay to go inside. We want you to know that you got to update your mindset, and you're not the only one, and you're not by yourself, because what we're talking about, we're being about. And what we did yesterday may be a little bit different than what we have to do today. Why? Because we got to create values, because we get these 3 keys. We get these 5 keys of communication, and so on and so on and so on. And we understand that our precepts and our presets influence the creation of our concepts. So I'm going right to our viewers. I want to go and pull up some of the things that you guys are saying before we jump off. Dr. Yamaja says, all great books, beloved. And then she says, you get it, Dr. Lotus Richey. Yes, we do. And Buck and I, we get it. She says, I'm doing my mama holy shout because this is so awesome. So thank you. Then she said, master yourself. And she said, you're an amazing, and you're awesome. Wow, that is it. He has to come back. Yes, he and I are going to do many more things together. And she says, I got something to shout about because you have brought the fire today. I have a fire in my belly and I got to tell it. Well, please do tell it and share this and hit the replay. And I love this. We have normalized dysfunction. Yes, we have. And today, while Brother Buck and I were sitting and we were talking, we were just talking, and I said, I'm going live. We're going to talk about this. I want to give 5 keys of communication. And we talked about communication and a myriad of other things. And that lets us know that we're in flow. So thank you so much. And she says, Brother Buck, you rock. So, Buck, as we get ready to close today, what would be your words of wisdom that you want to leave with people? And while I'm asking him this, if you have not gotten your notepad and pen, please get your notepad and pen, because he's getting ready to give you some secret sauce. He's getting ready to give you some words of wisdom. And those of you that's just joining the show, if you missed the 5 keys of communication, and what we did, we bundled our keys of communication. So you didn't just get 5, you got a lot more. Okay. If you missed this, hit the replay, send it out, share it to people, because this is valuable. And so, Brother Buck, it's on you. What's your final words of wisdom?
Yeah, firstly, I wanted to say thank you once again for allowing me to express myself, because otherwise, imagine if the few seconds I had was my last day, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to share my thoughts. As late Dr. Miles Monroe once said, it is better to die empty, because we have wisdom, we have greatness, we have inspiration within ourselves, but we tend to allow the outside forces, people's perceptions, negativity, the naysayers, crisis on the outside to overwhelm our state of being. So we tend to we consider ourselves as introverts. Oh, I'm shy. But what if that one word that you think is an inspiration that could perhaps touch a life? Otherwise, I won't be here. What if you could have done that? Why do you want to die with something you were not born with? For all the knowledge, the experiences that we've gained, we must not take them for granted. As I said, do not take no words for granted, no situation for granted, because the life that we live is not a stagnant journey. It's a process. As Dr. Lotus talked about the fact that prior to us having this life, it wasn't even planned. But guess what? My understanding, it was planned by the spirits. It was the intent. It wasn't by an accident, but by the intent of God within us. If this was to do with money, I've been to several events. This would have been thousands of pounds for people who attend this conference, so to speak. But guess what? Because we didn't think about that. Hence the reason why there was no restriction. So we allow it to breathe. One of the things I would say to take away from this, talking about this experience that Dr. Lotus and I shared, she said we didn't plan about it, and indeed we were having conversation, having done a summit to do with something that we're passionate about, to make an impact about people, about to help not only young people but society as a whole, humanity, under the influence of Dr. Sonia Robinson. So we decided to share our thoughts. That means we allow inspiration to breathe in us and for us to communicate, because we have that place of that thoughts of the thoughts that we embrace was coming from a place of love. It says the scripture tells us that it is more blessed to give than to receive. And because of the vision that we've gained within ourselves, as it says in Proverbs 29:18, where there is lack of revelation or vision, the people perish or suffer constraints. What that means is that if the revelation we had behind the scenes prior to this life, if we had kept that to ourselves, and the fact that Dr. Lotus had the inspiration to share, to come live, to share without the expectation of financial gains, that would have been like what's it called? I would say it was a crime against the spirituality within her. And even myself, if I had said, you know what, I won't come live, we wouldn't have created this opportunity for people, perhaps like someone talking about the fact that the person would be publishing a book to be, if I'm corrected, the title on becoming me. And that's the vibration of becoming updates, because we update our phones, but we don't update our me. Your me yesterday was not the me that you were created when you were born, because life is growth. To grow is to breed. So when you see information in books, when you listen to information through your, because we the 2 years that we have, there's a reason for that. So we need to capture on both sides. We must not get distracted by the possession of things on the outside, but within, because when we die, the profits on the outside will not come with us. What would go with us? Our state of being. If your mind is at peace, if your mind is successful, Regardless of the things that you possess, your soul will rest at peace. Don't wait for time to come to say, may your soul rest in peace. Don't wait for a time after your loved one passed away to say, I love you, you were good. Let them know now. Embrace mindfulness. That's another thing. To be here today. Today is the most important moment in your life. You cannot go into the future without today. The future is an illusion. Not can we go back and change the past, because the past is like the institution or education or university or college for us to gain lesson, to check our notes, to update our knowledge, to embrace. Because what's the point? To put all your attention into the future when there will be a day you and I would have no tomorrow. So today is the all important day in your life. A time wasted can never be gained. But the moment you embrace, your soul will remember that. So mindfulness is important. What's mindfulness? Embrace the current moment. Yes, we all deal with uncertainty in life, adversity in life. And again, your mindset of communication, embrace it, that it is part of life. If you were not born, you wouldn't experience that. The moment we were born, we were old enough to die. So that means have no thought for whatever comes. In fact, our thought process is part of the reason why some of us go through so many pains. We wish we'd got more time to speak today because there's too many we could share. I've experienced the Civil War crisis, Blood Diamond. If you have not watched it, watch it. That's just the tip of an iceberg. I experienced that as a young boy. I could have been dead over 22 years ago. I experienced depression. I had a broken hands doing my master's, all of those things. We shared all of this, right? Because of the love that we have. First John 4, it talks about chapter verse 8. It says that who does not love no God. You don't have to be a religious person to be a person who have faith in God. But you need to understand that you, not your parents, created you. Our parents are the vessels for our journey in life. The moment you were born, you were successful because your development went through a process. That means we grow. When you think about one of the branches when it comes to psychology, developmental psychology, you have childhood experience, adolescence, adult, old age. I don't consider old age. I like to say mature, like maturity. But sometimes we are old, but we are not mature. Maturity, again, if your mindset is not mature, it has nothing to do about how long you've lived, but the wisdom that you've gained. A man without wisdom lack understanding of the impact of being wisdom. Having a qualification is not a qualification to consider yourself as intelligent. Being smart is different from being wise. Being wise has nothing to do with wise, smart. There are people who are smart. Criminal activities, they're smart enough because when you're smart, you think about the fast routes like running sprints, shorter and then you get tired. You can't do that for too long. But if you're wise enough, you apply. You see, it's all working on you. That's you. Work on yourself. Empower yourself. I have been studying from day one. I don't know everything in life. As I always say, don't think you know everything. If you think you know everything in life, you know nothing at all. Because remember, you only know what you know and died. That's it. Our existence stopped. But the spirit will continue. I don't have the evidence to justify that. It's just a faith. Faith is the substance, and is the substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen, says the Bible. So it means that I have not experienced death, nor have you experienced death before. So if Christ walked on this earth and says to you and I, the kingdom of man is within it. So how can you enter the kingdom of heaven without actually working on yourself? You learn, expand, invest in yourself, find people to mentor you, seek help. But not everywhere you seek help from, you have to have critical thinking. Empowerment, it's very, very important. your words. Is your words is it to empower people? Is it coming from a place of empathy? Is it coming from a place of love? Question. Learn to listen. Speak with a sense of integrity is very, very important. Don't try to compete with no man. The moment you try to compete with anyone, you've committed self-suicide. Your knowledge is a reflection of your precepts because it's a byproduct of the concept that you create within you. So those words, I hope they will find somewhere in your heart. There's a book that I wrote. We publish it. It's called The Mindsets. We just released this. My topic is called The Philosophy and Recipes of Greatness. It's the Mindset of Greatness. I am one of the co-authors there, right? And again, I share this. I did not get paid for it. The thoughts I shared is actually a topic in my book. My chapter there is a topic. It's also a mini book as well. I shared it from a place of love. Whatever that the amount of money this book generates goes back to society. So who are you? And that's you have to judge that yourself. And if you're in a state of mental calamity, then you need to seek help. If you don't seek help, then you miss the opportunity to unlock your sense of potentiality. Because for me to become the person I am today, and I'll continue to become, it didn't come overnight. So don't try to use quick communications to manipulate people. You're manipulating yourself, because the people that you manipulate, they don't know the truth. The truth is within you. Another key I would share: face the truth. But the question is, what's the truth? Your truth is within you, not in my words, not in Dr. Lotte's words. It's within you. It's how you feel when you go to bed tonight or every day. That's what matters. Every time you wake up, let your goal be to become better, to be a value created society. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to express myself, and for all the lovely compliments that people given me out there. I humbly embrace it. Words are very powerful. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much.
All right.
And
Thank you so much. Again, face your truth, whatever it is. This has been the 5 keys of communication. We've summed it up so beautifully, and we hope that this has brought you some value, because your comments definitely brought value to us. Thank you again. What an awesome show. Thank you very much, Brother Buck. We appreciate you. This show validated and fed my inner essence and my soul as well. So thank you so much. I'll see you real soon. Join me on the Lotus Roché Ignite show, where we are helping to ignite the power on the inside of you, so that you can live a freer and more peaceful life on the inside. So until I see you again, and Buck and I are coming back for segment 2. We're coming back for segment 2 here in the near future. Until we see you again, we appreciate you, and we send you love and light. We'll see you next time. Good day.
It's time for you to start bossing in social media. For all your social media needs, you've come to the right place at the right time to get your website designed, landing page, social media platforms, and get the training you need to get in front of the people that's ready to buy your products and services. Let me train you with StreamYard, Zoom, Clubhouse, and much more. And let me help you get your virtual professionals, not assistants, because assistants can only assist you, but the virtual professionals can give you that professional flavor that you need to expand your reach and increase your revenue. Jump on in and get in where you fit in and start boxing today.